Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another Supatease video. And patch 9.2.5 has just come out, and with it, a lot of game-changing balance changes towards classes. And so I wanted to update my healer tier list for this patch for 3v3, for what healer is going to be best suited for you, what one's the most fun, what one's fitting to be a competitive option, so that you're not kind of walking in blindly into what could possibly be a mistake for you, and then having to reroll later because you're just struggling to find groups in looking for group. So that is the purpose of the video here today. And if you want to stay up to date with news and changes like that, so you're never falling behind the competition, then make sure you hit the subscribe button. But without further ado, let's get started. Discipline Priest. This is a specialization that I have enjoyed thoroughly throughout all of Shadowlands. Even if it wasn't as competitive as Resto Druid or Holy Paladin in the previous seasons, it was still a lot of fun. It pumped out tons of damage, and it felt like I could make it work in scenarios where Druids and Paladins were being taken. Unfortunately, now in patch 9.2.5, I don't think that that is the case. I think that you will struggle a lot on this healer in terms of keeping your output. This healer is kind of almost the most underdog healer, at least when it comes to arena right now, even probably more so than Mistweaver, is just because it can't keep up with the amount of damage that is available from a lot of cooldowns. I'm seeing a lot of Discipline Priests just going down through pain suppression, dying through their power word barriers, and Holy Priest received a significant amount of damage buffs, so you're not even out damaging Holy Priest, unfortunately. So you're doing less damage, have less CC. It's just underperforming from Holy. And even though it's got really fun legendaries this patch and interesting set bonus combinations to kind of pump out massive penance hits, even that is just not hitting the mark for me at the moment. So much so that I've not even really been sticking to it whatsoever. I've been kind of just playing Holy, and anytime I've seen Discipline Priests in groups, that everybody's kind of like, why aren't you just Holy type of deal? Similarly to how it used to be when you were Holy and people wanted you to be Disc, but there's really just not a reason to be a Disc at the moment. You do not fit in a lot of compositions. I'd say Jungle, Hunter, Feral is your best option at the moment if you were going to run this route. So for me, I think Disc Priest is coming in at about a C tier, very low at the moment. That's jumping down from where I used to put it as S, even if it wasn't competitively better than the Resto Druid or Holy Paladin, just because it was so fun and I could somewhat make it work and I really enjoyed it. It's still the same kit. It's still the same skill cap. It's just with the way that the damage is dealt at the moment, Discipline Priest is struggling to keep up. Holy Paladin in a really good spot right now. I think it's almost comparable to the way that you were in season 1. Still a major drawback is your mana, which makes sense when you're kind of an aggro healer with multiple ways to just top targets immediately. Holy Paladin's in a really good spot if you're running the Necrolord Covenant. It's a very versatile healer. I'd say its best comp at the moment is maybe Assassination Rogue, Fire Mage, Holy Paladin, but you can play double Spellcaster. I've been enjoying playing Demonology, Elemental Shaman, and I think that you can play double caster, you can play double melee, you can play everything with this. So you're going to have a lot of versatility. You're still a desirable healer at the moment. So for me, I think it's like an up top A tier, like close to coming into S tier. I think that Holy Priest does put a little bit over Holy Paladin at the moment, but I don't think you're going to go wrong with it. I've been enjoying playing mine on my Gladiator Challenge that I just completed, and I do like its flexibility. I like mixing in a little bit of damage that it has. Its damage feels impactful when you're adding damage during your partner's burst windows, so coordinating that together with your team is very fun, and I would definitely recommend it at the moment if you're looking to pick up that type of aggressive playstyle from Paladin. Holy Priest, now it's like we don't really need to talk. It just can go to the top of the list here. It's been good for this entire patch. It's been a while since Holy Priest has been good, but its healing output is the highest of any healer. It has really good mana retention. Even once you've run out of mana, you just keep going and going and going like the Energizer Buddy. You have very powerful cooldowns like Ray of Hope that can completely immune damage, and you have a lot of ways to instantly heal targets, which is important when you're getting blasted down by the burst damage at the moment. So, and you're doing the highest damage of any healer in the game. You're outshining literally everyone. Like, I don't even think a Dwayne could keep up with a Holy Priest over a longer match with how much damage you can do between your Holy Fires. So definitely a powerful healer at the moment. Most competitive option. You're going to have the most flexibility in terms of comps. You can play literally anything as a Holy Priest, and you're going to be desirable. So if you're wanting a safe pick, you pick the Holy Priest right now. And like I said, it's multi-dimensional. You're going to be doing a lot of damage. You have the cooldowns that trade well, and you have the highest output of any healer. So you cannot go wrong with the Holy Priest at the moment in 9.2.5. Mistweaver. Mistweaver probably has higher throughput than even Holy Priest at the moment. That is the main strength of the Mistweaver. Problem is offensively, you have nothing in the class, and it's kind of been like this for a while. You don't contribute anything other than a paralyze and a leg sweep, so you can set up crowd control for your team every once in a while. But if you're wanting to play a healer where you can like occasionally add something of importance to the fight, it's probably only your touch of death, which compromising your positioning with how much you have to channel your casted healings can be very high risk. But it can also be a challenge to try and be in that position to land them, because getting good touch of death is an important skill for a Mistweaver player at the moment. I personally find it just not entertaining enough. Most of the time you're just sitting in the back like Mercy from Overwatch with your beam going out, and it's just keeping people topped until you're CC'd and then they die because you aren't able to do that anymore. So it's kind of depressing and not that entertaining for me at the moment, but it is a competitive option because of how much throughput it has. So because it's lacking so much offensively, I'm probably putting it in the middle at the moment, but you can do well with the spec. It will still perform well. If you want something that's simpler, you're going to want to go with the Mistweaver Monk. But if you're looking for something more complex and multi-layered, I don't think I could recommend the Mistweaver Monk to you. That's why it's coming in at a lower rank right now for me. Resto Druid. This was a tough one to rank. I think now, since the changes to Mage Lock, that compositions that included Ret Paladins are becoming increasingly more popular, and Resto Druid is a great healer for things like Ret Paladin Warrior, and that comp is having a resurgence. That was kind of like one of the best ladder comps you could play in the game, and it probably is close to the best again, because it can beat these Outlaw Rogue comps. You're pretty much only struggling with Subtlety RMP, which not a lot of RMPs at the high end of the ladder are even still playing. Most have gone Outlaw, which you actually do stand a good chance into. You still have really good output at the moment. You can still regenerate mana by drinking in the back. Offensively, keeping Moonfire on a target, it's about all you're going to be contributing. Jumping in with Feral Affinity, but not so much when you're playing with Rets and Warriors. Most of this is going to be kind of sitting back, waiting for your team, jumping in, doing an in-cap Cyclone similar to the Mistweaver. But it just feels like you have more things going on than just channeling a beam. I don't know if I want to put this on A tier. I think I can put it on A tier. I feel like you've got Turbo Cleave. It's probably bottom A tier. I think Paladin is still slightly better, but it's very close at the moment. So if you want like a mixed play style of just kind of sitting in the back with these occasional moments where you can pop off and go in and get something going, then Resto Druid will be a good fit. But I don't think its output is exceeding to the levels of Holy Priest at the moment. But you're still a flexible healer. I see mostly melee cleaves, but you can back into the double spellcasters as well. Paladin might be better for those, and Holy Priest, but definitely the Ret Warrior type of deal, I think is going to be where you want to find your footing. Resto Shaman got a lot of buffs. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if it's going to be enough for the spec here. Earthen Wall Totem has definitely improved in terms of how much it'll have impact, but I still often see Shamans dying through combustion, even if they pre-Earthen Wall the kidney shot. So the burst damage is still exceeding your cooldowns. Can get pretty frustrating when you're not able to keep up with the amount of overall pressure a lot of compositions have, things like Demon Hunter Death Knight. And I mostly do see the Shaman succeeding in comps like that, where it can kind of overrun targets before its lack of sustained healing is noticeable. So playing with Demon Hunters, Death Knights, Rets, and Warriors, and these types of comps are probably going to be your best. I'm currently playing Demon Hunter Boomkin Shaman, which I think can work, but I am a bit concerned with the meta comps of Ret Warrior just running down my Shaman and Rogue Mage trying to set up crowd control, and depending on the popularity of those comps as to whether or not it's going to work in the long run, but I'm going to do my best to work through it. Resto Shaman, I feel like I cannot put it on the same tier as Holy Paladin and Resto Druid at the moment. I think that it is slightly behind. Unfortunately, the one kind of component of Shaman was just like running targets down, purging them, and overwhelming them with aggression, which has really fallen off from its identity. I'd like to see that identity restored to Resto Shaman. I don't know if this could be done through buffing honor talents so that its purge electrocutes doing more damage, buffing damage onto the Dwayne Earth Elemental or something, because Resto Shaman is just being aggressive, getting in people's faces and rushing people down, I think is a really fun, unique playstyle to all the other healers, that it's just fallen off. It's not scaling as well with the rest of the gear. So I think it's probably better or close to Mistweaver. A bit of a tough debate there. You're going to excel in melee cleaves. You're going to excel with a couple of melee casters like Rogue Shadow Priest, Boomkin Demon Hunter. I haven't seen any double spell casters, so you've got that entire archetype not available from looking for groups, so your comps are going to be a little bit more limited. So it's definitely coming in a little bit more of the middle of the pack at the moment. And this is my assessment for the healers in 9.2.5. I hope that you enjoyed this video, got some information in helping make your selection and your playstyle choice for this patch. And other than that, thank you very much for watching the video. I will catch you in the next one.